Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Makeba and welcome to another video. So today's video, as the caption suggests, is all about beads, African beads. We are talking about why Africans wear beads with respect to history, and I am looking at beads in general because I had made a video in the past, like 2 years ago, in which I was talking about why African women wore waist beads, and it was after a conversation I had with my mom, and I thought it was so interesting. I just came online and I shared my views on that. So today's video is a bit different. I'm talking about beads in general. Why do Africans wear beads? You know, the reasons for which Africans wear beads have evolved and have changed over time. So I am looking mainly at the reasons why they wore beads in the past, because most of the reasons are non-existent today or are only limited to small, groups of people in Africa, within the African society, and not necessarily people, the larger Africa in a whole. So yes, we are looking at why Africans wear beads with respect to history. And if that's something you're interested in, please stick and stay and I will get right into it. First of all, wearing beads dates as far back as 15,000 years ago, and beads beads are worn generally by everybody in Africa: men, women, children, kings, queens, the rich, the poor. Everybody wears beads, okay? And if we are looking at history in the past, beads essentially was used as a form of identity. That's one of the reasons why people wore beads. You could tell a person, the family or the clan from which a person is coming from based on the beads that they are wearing. And this is something that transcended most parts of Africa, not just limited to Ghana, where I personally come from. So most people wore beads, and you could tell based on if you saw somebody wearing beads, you could tell who, which family the person belonged to, because during those times they have very, very, very small communities, very, very small settlements. The world isn't as evolved as it is right now. So yes, that's one of the reasons why they wore beads, for the purposes of identity. And another reason why they wore beads, which is closely linked to the purposes of identity, is status, a person's status in the society. You could tell if a person was from the royal family depending on what beads they were wearing. You could actually tell if a person was an executionist based on what beads they were wearing, because the beads they wore at the time were so different. They wore beads, cowrie type beads. They were beads made of clay, beads made of glass. So some of the beads were deemed as very, very expensive and could only be afforded by the rich and the powerful in the society. And who were the rich and powerful in the society? The what do you call it, the kings, the queens, and the royal families, and also people within the society who have carved a niche for themselves. They've built wealth, families who were known to be very, very wealthy. So you could tell if a person was rich or poor based on what beads they were wearing. And beads were mostly worn by almost every member of the society because of the dressing that they're dressing at the time. During the past, a lot of Africans, or should I say Ghanaians, where I come from, which is the northern part, would wear African cloth that are woven type cloth. In the northern region, we call it the batakari, which is hand woven cloth. And then they have the kente and other African prints as well, the tie dye and all of that. And they would often tie them around their waist and, around their chest to cover their breast if you were a woman. And if you were a man, you just tie it around your waist. And of course, the young women within the society would dress up and they would adorn themselves in these beads, especially those who were of age, of marriageable age, would dress and adorn themselves, in these beads. So it was more for beautification purposes as well. And in beautifying yourself, of course, you're going to use the beads that your family has. And most of the families who were rich were known to, have the beautiful beads made out of glass and the expensive stuff, the cowries, the beautiful cowries. So yes, beads, you could tell a person's status in a society based on what beads they were wearing. to the point of the status of a person within a society, you could tell a young girl of marriageable age who was ready to be married, whether she's coming from a rich home or a poor home, based on what beads they are wearing. And knowing whether they're coming from a rich home or a poor home would also tell you whether the bride price for this young woman is going to be expensive or cheap. So during initiation rites, or the climax of initiation rites, where young women are taken through various process of initiation and then adorned and showed to the general public, a lot of young men who come around can tell the girls who are from rich homes and those who are not, and those who come there to look for women from rich homes because they are also from equally rich homes and think they can afford the bride price will go in for those, and those who think they can afford, it all depends on what you're looking for. So looking at a girl, depending on what type of bead she's wearing, you can tell if she is an expensive bride or not too expensive bride. So these are one of the ways, and so you don't go wasting your time chasing a girl or running after a girl that you can't afford to marry, because bride price was very, very important at the time. I think it still is, but it was very, very important, and that's one of the ways the families could tell if a young prospective husband could take care of his family or not. Past within the African society were used as currency. You could actually go to the market with beads to shop. It was it was money to the people at the time. So beads, one of the functions of beads in the past was used as currency, and I can't elaborate this enough, so just know that we're used as currency. Beads was for magical and spiritual purposes. There were a lot of families, if not all families at the time, had heirlooms made of beads that they've handed down from generation to generation, and most of these beads were known to contain certain magical powers or protection for that particular family. And let me say that the beads themselves, when they are made, do not have any magical powers. Usually the chief priest would have to imbue, or let's say call the powers that be to inhibit the beads. So the beads are more or less like a vessel that is being inhibited by a form of spirit. So when you buy a bead off of the street, you're just buying the regular beads. If you really want power or magic in those beads, then you can actually take it to somebody who has the means, or a chief priest or a priestess to do that for you. And let me add that one thing my mother said, which is very, very interesting, is that at the time, nobody would steal your beads. Okay, beads were very, very expensive. Beads were very, very valuable possessions. But a thief could break into your house, take everything, but would not touch the beads, because they know some of the beads are, generational beads that are handed down from one family to one generation to the next within a particular family. And these beads harbor magical and spiritual powers that are only meant to protect the family within the family that owns them. So if a stranger or somebody else steals the beads, then you're bringing bad luck to yourself and to your family, and so nobody wanted that. So you could own your beads from years and nobody would touch them. Even if you left them on the street or at the stream, nobody will pick them up, because you never know. Because some people also use the beads, like I said, the magical powers are not just for protection. Some people also use the beads, to hurt other people. And so during naming ceremonies or marriage ceremonies and stuff like that, a lot of people are careful in accepting presents made of beads, especially if you're getting married. It's like it is bad luck for somebody to present beads to you without you knowing the person or what family the person is coming from, because a person's family can tell what type of spirit or magical powers that they are known to have. Back in Ghana, a lot of people, I remember when I was growing up, as young as I was, my father actually had, I wouldn't say dislike, but a certain level of, I don't know if it's fear. I don't want to use the word fear, but most people from the Volta region, the Evers of Ghana, and even some part of northern Ghana, are known to have very, very serious magical powers that when they were invoked can do a lot of harm to you. So a lot of people try to stay as far away from these people as possible. And I'm saying this just to mean that it's just what do you call it, an old age something that has been known since time immemorial. Evers are not like that. My best friend is an Ever. It's funny, my best friend from junior high school is an Ever. Best friend in senior high school was an Ever. So it's really nothing. It's just it's like a reputation that they've carved for themselves since time past, and some people still hold on to that. I remember my father, well, you know, bless his soul, my father would told my elder sister at the time that if she was going to get married, she shouldn't bring an Ever man to the house and all that. You know, it's a lot. There's a lot of tribalism in Ghana. You know, some tribes are seen to be tribes that are into evoking spirits and magical powers and stuff like that. So yeah, beads are known to do that as well. Beads were worn by everybody within the society, men, women, children, you name it. And a particular tribe within Southern Africa, which is known as one of the largest ethnic group in Africa, is the Zulu people, the Zulu ethnic group. They are a Bantu ethnic group in Southern Africa. And the Zulu men are known to wear beads to convey emotions. A Zulu man's beads could tell you if they're in love with you or if they're not. And also, most people within the Zulu society identify a person's status, a person's mood, what you feel or what you're going through at the time. If you're mourning, if you're happy, if you're celebrating, if something good has happened, based on what color of beads you're wearing. So you could be wearing black beads and they could identify it as, okay, he is mourning, and so people will act towards you, you know, accordingly. And if you're happy, the greeting that you would receive from people that you would meet on your way, you know, to the farm, or from the farm, or from the stream, or to the stream, is actually different. People will greet you accordingly based on what beads you're wearing, if you're happy, if you're sad. And the color of beads you're wearing also could tell if you're rich or if you're poor. So within the Zulu society at the time, beads were like a form of communication for people. People could communicate to you through the beads you're wearing. You are used for so many ceremonies, especially festivals in Ghana. There's so many festivals in Ghana that I don't think there's a festival in Ghana that does not showcase beads. It is one of the times where the rich and beautiful culture of Ghana is showcased, and most of the people wear beads. And during the coronation of kings, beads feature a lot. You will see kings sitting on their palanquins, especially the Asantehene, who happens to be like the overall ruler whose authority in Ghana is felt, you know, no matter where you are. The Asante king is one of the powerful kings in Ghana, and I would say Africa as well. And you should see festivals and derbers and the showcase of beads, and well, the beauty of beads is usually showcased during these times. And so yes, I know there were some people who were talking who commented on my other video, and we're talking about how their parents said beads are for spiritual purposes only. No, they are not just for spiritual purposes. There's so many purposes for beads. A lot of people wear beads. I mean, you can make beads yourself. Are you saying if you put beads together yourself, you know, there's some kind of spirit in them? Let's say you get glass and you learn how to make beads, and you grind this glass and you mold them into beads and you put them together and put them around your neck. Does that mean there's a spirit in it? No. There is no spirit in the beads that you buy or make. But if you want the spirit, then you have to go through a process in order to get the spirits to inhibit the beads that you're wearing. Yes, some of the beads are used for spiritual purposes, but I think it all depends on you, the individual. And yes, like I said, beads, there are different types of beads. I have some beads here that I want to show today. I have these beads. these are like the typical traditional beads for Ghana. And this rope, this thread here, I can actually loosen it and take some of the beads out. So it all depends on how I want to wear my beads, and I can tie them in a way that you won't be able to see the thread hanging. So once I tie it the way that I want it, you really wouldn't see the thread. And yeah, these are some of the beads. This beads actually made from glass, you know. And these beads that I'm wearing today, it's like the modern type of beads now, with this earring and then bracelet as well to go with it. These are like a few, these aren't that expensive. These are some of the cheap beads actually. And these are the typical traditional beads, and these are quite expensive to get, you know. I mean, relatively expensive. I don't know your pocket, so yep. And these are some of the cheap beads. Look, I'm not rich, so I go for the cheap stuff. Here you go. Yep. Here are some more beads as well, and these as well. As you can see, more beads. And then some of the beads, see this one, this is also beads, but it actually looks quite different. See? And then yeah, we have beads in all sorts of colors. There is no color on earth that you will not find beads in. There's white, there's black, you know. And because most beads are worn according to the occasion, so yes, beads comes in so many different forms. And yeah, this is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. And if there is anything that you'd want me to touch on that I haven't, please go ahead and hit me up in the comment section. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank you so much, and I will see you next time in my next video. Bye from the girl Makeba.